Ceded, this always was and always will be Aboriginal land. I would also like to pay my respects to the elders, past, present, and any other Indigenous elders of other communities who may be here today. So, first item is the election of the agenda and minute taker. So the proposal for minute taker is General Lane, who is the welfare officer of the SRC. And can I please get a mover for that proposal? Elmore? Can I get a seconder? Liam Morgan. Is there any alternative proposals? Okay, that's carried by this meeting. Let's move on to the substance of what we want to talk about today. So I'm going to start with rules and regulations so that everyone understands what this meeting means and what we're doing here. So I'd like to start with the Constitution. So the Constitution of the Student Representative Council says this on Student General Meetings. So we have fulfilled the 16 B of the Constitution. We have submitted over 500 signatures to the UX Executive Officer, and we have reached a quorum of 195 students. Therefore, this meeting is constitutional. This meeting, as stipulated in 16C of the Constitution, has the power to overturn decisions and policy of the Council and create new policy or censure office bearers. So, the way that this meeting will work is we have one motion on notice, which we will discuss and vote on. There will be a mover and a seconder, each have 5 minutes speaking time. We will then have discussion on the motion, which will be limited to 1 hour, and each speaker will have 5 minutes to say their piece. I will call for, and against until the hands are exhausted. Amendments to any item shall be proposed in accordance with Section 10 of the rules concerning the standing orders of Council. This means if an amendment is proposed, we will have discussion only concerning the amendment and vote on the amendment before moving back to discussion on the motion as a whole. This meeting must remain quorate throughout the entirety of the meeting to be valid. We have people at the doors who will be basically counting people leaving the room, and at any point we lose quorum, we will not be able to continue as a constitutional meeting of the SRC. Voting on all matters in this general meeting of students will be done by a show of hands with your voting card, which is showing that you are registered as a student. I will declare if the motion has been carried. If it looks unanimous, I will declare that it is unanimous. If the vote is close, I will say that we will need to count the vote and that people will have to keep their hands up. So generally speaking, standing orders of the SRC will apply to this general meeting of students except where it is not applicable. Meetings shall be taken for the entirety of the meeting and will be signed by the chair and a witness. These minutes will be sent to the President of the SRC to report back to the Council that the policy carried here should be and will be the policy of the SRC. So now that that's out of the way, I'm moving to the motion on notice, which is on the screen above you. I'm going to read out the motion in its entirety. So, that this general meeting of students calls upon the University of Adelaide to 1. Stand in solidarity with the people of Palestine by calling for an immediate and permanent ceasefire and signing on to the boycott, divestment and sanctions movement. 2. Divest from weapons companies linked to the genocide in Gaza, including shares held in its endowment fund and withdrawing from the Defense Trailblazer program. 3. Drop all disciplinary cases and bans against pro-Palestine activists who participated in the Gaza Solidarity encampment. So, I have a mover and a seconder. Sorry, this information is outdated. So the mover will be Elle Hall, and the seconder will be Clementine Cook Hall. So I'm going to move to the rights to speak for the mover and seconder before I go into discussion. So mover Elle Hall, you have the floor.
So, I'm Mel Hall. I'm a member of Students for Palestine. I'm a history student here at the University of Adelaide. I'm moving this motion because I am sick to my stomach by the crimes that our university is implicating itself with by its increasing ties with weapons companies. According to the acclaimed British medical journal, The Lancet, over 186,000 Palestinians have died since October 7th. This is a combination of bullets, bombs, prison camps, treatable wounds, infections, starvation, and disease. No university remains in Gaza. All 12 universities which previously stood have been damaged or reduced to rubble. Gaza's oldest university, the Islamic University of Gaza, was destroyed on October 10th, 2023, under the accusation that it produced weaponry. No evidence has been proven for this claim to this day. Al-Isra University was occupied for 70 days by the Israeli military. They used this as a military base for the entirety of that time, and once they were done with it, they imploded it. This is to cover for their crimes. Our university is partnered with the weapons companies that allow this to happen. Our university is aiding the death and destruction of universities across the world. In the last 2 weeks, 5 schools have been targeted by Israel. This isn't in the last month, it's in the last weeks. This is because they're the main shelters for people in Gaza. School hasn't run for over a year. They're quickly becoming mass graves. The bombing of the school over the weekend killed over 100 Palestinians, and these numbers are only increasing. The bomb used for this is the GBU-39 bomb produced by Boeing. Adelaide Uni is proud to be partnered with Boeing as a partner of the Defence Trailblazer program. This bombing didn't just destroy the school, it's meant to shatter bones and flesh and tear them from people's bodies. Pieces of bodies are being sorted into bags weighing the approximate weight of an adult or a child. People can't identify whether or not the arm or leg next to them belongs to the torso. It's not just Boeing that Adelaide University is partnered with though. Adelaide University is partnered with over 50 weapons companies through the Defence Trailblazer program. This includes Thales, involved with making the drones that fly over Gaza, Lockheed Martin, which produces the Hellfire missile used to behead children, and Northrop Grumman, which produces the F-35 fighter jets. The list goes on and on, incriminating Adelaide University more and more in death and destruction. This is in contradiction with the mission statement of Adelaide University, where they claim that they act, quote, in the interests of improving lives and delivering better societal outcomes, end quote. So, tell me, Peter Hoyt, how is genocide improving lives? How is it delivering a better societal outcome to have people searching for the scattered remains of human flesh for their children's body parts? I think Adelaide University has proven beyond belief that they're concerned far more with profits than all moral decency. They've sacrificed any moral code. And I think that it's our imperative as students to be that moral code, to say that we have no part in our university being in the business of war. Our university saying nothing on Palestine allows the status quo to continue. This is a status quo where they continue to profit off the destruction of Palestine. Our university wants the fact that Lockheed Martin has a school at Careers Day to be passed over without thought, let alone a protest. They don't want students to know about the endowment fund that has over $1 million invested with over 25 weapons companies per the last Freedom of Information request. This meeting today is historic in standing against all of these weapons partnerships the University of Adelaide has. This is following student meetings of students all the way back from the 70s. Students who stood against the Vietnam War, who fought for that to end and won. And I think that this is a really proud tradition of that. These meetings go down in history. This meeting today will be remembered as one of the students at the University of Adelaide stood against injustice, stood against apartheid and genocide, and voted for students to be in support of Palestine as well.
to speak on secondary maths.
Sorry, was I in your way?
No, it's just all something like that.
Hi, now I don't know if any of you have been to an engineering careers night recently, to see what opportunities they had for the next generation of innovators. Will I, design new water management system, develop drought resistant crops, or will see what take vulnerable areas from drought management? Well, if you have been to one of these career nights, you may have been disappointed that all that seems to be on offer are a lineup of the world's top weapons companies who all want you to help them in their mission to profit from war. Well, this is disappointing. As a first-year engineering student myself, I certainly was surprised. Adelaide University is the most militarized campus in the whole country, boasting its relationship with some of the top leading merchants there. Tonight, I'll be talking about the second demand of promotion, which demands that this university finally divest from weapons companies. This includes the shares held in its endowment fund and withdrawal from the Defence Trailblazer program. So, how exactly is this university involved with the weapons industry? Well, for starters, there's the direct investment of $1 million in endowment funds from the world's top 25 weapons companies, including Lockheed Martin and Raytheon, who have supplied Israel with the F-16 and F-35 fighter jets, amongst countless other weapons currently being used in Gaza. These companies have blood on their hands and are staining our legacy with every handshake. These great nations give them an influence over the decisions made at our university, giving them access to research partnerships and scholarships aimed at funneling students into the war machine and exploiting our research to create even deadlier weapons. The latest addition to this university's boot camp is the Defence Trailblazer program, a $240 million government and industry funded program with over 50 weapons companies, including the world's richest and most disruptive. The program, quote, is designed to bridge the gap between academia and the Australian defence industry, providing students with hands-on experience while contributing to the host organisation's objectives. If these objectives result in refugee camps being set alight by Boeing's 250-pound DPU-39 bomb, the scattering of white phosphorus into the alien systems, or Albert's NPR 500 bombs designed for quote, densely populated urban warfare. If these are the objectives of these companies, then that is not a gap that I must bridge. The Defence Trailblazer seeks to secure a workforce for these genocide volunteers and give them access to our talent and research through scholarships, internships, placements, and projects. In a world rife with the cost of living crisis, disease, crumbling infrastructure, and climate change, why is this university so set on expanding warfare? Why have we come up with the resources for a $240 million Defence Trailblazer that seems to fall short of funding for art, sciences, and law, cutting funds to the music conservatory and library despite these students paying twice as much for their degrees? The only winners in war are the bosses of the defence industry, who view Gaza as another threat, but a potential driver for increased revenue, and see exorbitant profits in times of crisis and war. As an architectural engineering student, I want to build houses and infrastructure, not flatten them. I think my peers would agree with me when I say the students of this university have no interest in improving the world's economic machines. We despise the way in which this university serves corporations at the expense of students both here and over in Palestine. Appalling and revolting that every day myself and my peers are exploited for our talents and for our ideas. We are not being taught engineering. We are being taught to sacrifice our ethics for the blood money of the butchers of Gaza, and I will not stand for this. I think it's time that our students choose what we want to do with our money, with our time, degrees, and our lives. We need to take back control over our education and use our talents for the betterment of humanity. This university is correct in claiming that there's no place for violence on campus, which is why we need to oppose the militarization of our education and keep these bloodthirsty corporations off campus. Students speaking up in protests and meetings like these is what democracy looks like. This university is terrified of such prospects. This university wants us to give up so that they can continue to line their pockets while millions of people suffer. So it's time that we have a say and vote to divest from weapons companies and protect our campus from the weapons plaguing our campus. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. May the peace and blessings of God be upon you all. On behalf of the voting that we stand in constitutional rights of the Ghana people and pay respect to elders past, present, and emerging. I'll be speaking about the first point of the motion. The University of Adelaide stands in solidarity with the people of Palestine by calling for a permanent ceasefire and signing on to the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement. The nature of watching a real-time genocide is that you see a massacre in Gaza and you think it can't possibly get any worse than this. And then it does. Just over the weekend while I was writing my speech, the Al-Fajr massacre happened. They were massacred in prayer. They had woken up early, ready to perform pre-dawn prayer alongside their brothers and sisters, to ask God for strength and patience, when 3 bombs, each weighing 2,000 pounds, hit the Al-Fajr school and triggered a fire that consumed the entire building. Those who were killed by the bombs were burnt alive. This is perhaps the deadliest massacre that the genocide has seen, and we ask that our Lord accept it to the highest ranks of paradise. Israel continues to insist that these attacks are precise. And you know what? They're not wrong. They're precise in targeting a school used as a shelter. They're precise in targeting men who are vulnerable in prayer, knowing that they stand before God without weapons, and knowing that they'll leave behind orphans and widows. You know, when I was writing this speech, I really wanted to think of one incident, one story that really shocked me. And to be honest, I couldn't think of just one. But I can tell you that seeing children with their bodies breaking out of their flesh, and their skulls split open with their brains visible, and their intestines spewed out while they're still alive, I pray to God that in those moments of shock, they didn't feel the magnitude of the pain. I can tell you that this is a war on children. A war on children that our government is too soft in condemning. What message are they sending by condemning, but still engaging in arms trade with the genocidal states? A university is a place of critical thinking, of free speech, and of taking action. You are all students at this university. This is your money, and you have the right to demand accountability. Every single university has been destroyed in Gaza, and with the targeting of professionals, scholars, writers, and poets, this is a scholasticide that our educational institutions have to condemn in the strongest of terms. And this isn't just a moral stance. It's an environmental stance, it's an economic stance. This affects all of us. This apartheid state has made clear their intentions to drag other countries into a regional war. Where does this put your future if you want to engage or work or study in the global environment? Boycotting, divesting, and sanctioning works. Worked in South Africa and Vietnam. But we haven't learned from past genocides and past apartheids. And now, ethnic cleansing is happening at a much faster rate because weapons are advanced. Thanks to research done at this university.
Shame.
To the oppressors and the enablers today, this is a stain in history that will never be removed. They know this and it frightens them, and it frightens their power structures. Because despite all the money that goes into the weaponry, despite all the money that goes into the propaganda, despite all their structures of power, it only continues to reveal their hypocrisy and our courage, our refusal to back down, and most importantly, our moral clarity. We stand on the right side of history. Lastly, I want to say regarding all the propaganda that we're an angry and destructive mob, we don't protest, we don't camp and speak outside, we don't gather here today out of hatred or anger or grievances. We're here out of love, out of hope, and out of trust in the university that they will respect what we come together to demand. Free Palestine!
I think one of the things about this is there's kind of no guarantee you get when you partner with a weapons company that sells weapons to people who want to wage wars, especially a weapons company that deals with Israel, which is very well known for committing war crimes with all of the weapons they receive, that they're not going to get used to commit war crimes. It's not like you get a one rubber stamp when you partner with Lockheed Martin to do research, or Thales to do research, who produces drones in partnership with Elbit Systems that fly over Gaza today. One of the partnerships actually with Elbit Systems is through the University Super Fund. This is something they recommend for their staff and students. Mainly the staff super fund, but students also recommended it by the university. They do have a partnership with Elbit Systems in this. Elbit Systems is directly linked with the production of drones to surveil the Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank. And they continue, like every investor, they're an Israeli weapons company. They make money off of apartheid being continued within Israel. So I think that there's no moral way that a university can do research with a weapons company and say that this will be used for the good wars. I think all of the wars that are waged on civilians, I think they're bad wars actually, and all of them are. So Adelaide University being partnered with any of these weapons companies means it already has stained its hands with blood. So any research being done by this, including PhD scholarships, including the Lot 14 building, which actually during our encampment had $60 million more given to it by the university, by the state government, means that there's no way that this can be done correctly. Actually, the university merging means that there will be more of this happening because there'll be more partnerships with what they call important industries that explicitly stated in the state government. It's basically the partnerships with defense companies as one of their flourishing industries with the AUKUS Pact. This also means that our university, and Flinders as well, our university is going to become increasingly militarized. So that's part of why this meeting is actually really important, that we say okay, the partnerships we've already had are disgusting and fucked up. We don't want any more, we want all of these gone, we don't want more of them to be done with our education. So yeah, I think the point of that is you can't just be this student did research for this drone. It's the university has money with these weapons companies. They haven't partnered with our education. It's entrenched in the way that our university functions, actually. And this is something that all students should oppose, given that we attend this university, that we give it our kids money, we do our degrees here, we have that stamped on our degree for the rest of our life. This is something that we should be able to have the right to say, not in my name, this is not this degree. This thing I did at this university, I did it without supporting this part of what the university did.
I'll take another speaker for.
Well, to respond to that and to say a few other things. My name's Nick. I'm a PhD student here at the university and also the postgrad rep on SRC. When I first started this uni several years ago, I remember seeing a very shocking advertisement from the university's head of Defence and Security Institute, Professor Michael Webb. This is what he says in this advertisement to students. Defence is one area where the University of Adelaide's impact is undeniable, even if we can't say what we'd like to about what we're doing.
Shame!
A lot of the university's bloody deals with the companies that profit from genocide and war are hidden behind closed doors.
Yeah.
That is something that our movement is trying to expose. But what we do know is that their hands are soaked with blood. They boast very openly about other particular research projects, and whether they're not necessarily always linked to war. They boast about the fact that radar research done in the engineering department here is being used by Liberal and Labor Party governments to turn back refugees from this country. We know well that the Defence Trailblazer program invites the world's leading merchants of death to set up office at this university, companies that manufacture the weapons that have been used in some of the worst atrocities in Gaza. But actually, what I do want to speak about as well when I'm up here tonight is the final point of this motion. And that's a motion demanding that the university drop all disciplinary cases and bans against pro-Palestine activists who participated in the Gaza Solidarity encampment. The right to protest is important, but the University of Adelaide over the last 3 months has tightened the screws on student activism. We support freedom of speech, peaceful protests, they claim, but only on our conditions. They've tried to ban protests inside buildings and protests that are disruptive. At the entrance to this university, you'll see wherever you go, signs banning the public from participating in protests on campus with threat of police action. These are disproportionate and unreasonable responses to a dramatic attack on democratic norms. I think they're an attempt to undermine the essentials of Palestine activism. Rather than recognising disruptive protest as a essential feature of any protest, the university wants to have all the power to decide what is allowed and what is not. Student protests, especially disruptive protests, have a long and proud history. Other speakers already mentioned some of these struggles. They're the very definition of the academic freedom and open debate that this university claims to uphold. But under the university's new rules, every single one of these past struggles, whether that was supporting land rights, opposing the Vietnam War, climate action, every one of those would have been banned and referred to the police at the whims of Peter Hoy, the Vice-Chancellor. Let's be clear, all of these measures are a direct retribution for the Gaza Solidarity encampment. The encampment saw a month-long peaceful occupation of the university maths lawns. It shone a light on some of these dirty and disgusting partnerships that the university holds with weapons companies. It highlighted those ties to thousands of students. Adelaide University could have chosen to meet with students or respond to their demands. Instead, they victimised and threatened them. So, one student has faced threats of discipline and misconduct simply for taking part in peaceful protest, and security have indefinitely banned 2 other Palestine activists, one graduate of this university and one Flinders student. This has nothing to do with protecting students and staff, it has everything to do with creating a chilling effect on other students and staff who support Palestine. It's an attack on our basic right to organise against and criticise our own institution. And all of this quickly has been backed up by a string of dishonest misinformation, smearing our movement as violent and disruptive and so on, when meanwhile a very real violence is upheld by the policies of this university, which others have spoken to. The fact that this university supports the companies that produce the bombs and bullets used to devastate Gaza. So at a time when democratic freedoms around the world, across the country, are under attack, it's shameful that our university should choose to champion anti-democratic policies. It's an insult to thousands of students who over generations have taken to the streets fighting for social justice. So I think everyone here should recognise our strength is in numbers, the university knows that, everyone here should commit to fighting any and all attacks on the right to protest.
Are there any speakers against the motion? If not, we will take it to a vote. So, yeah, we can have your speaker do after the thing.
Why I'm asking that is because if they're not, I would like to move an amendment that they get funded.
Oh, they fund like legal representation? I do then all to that. Alright, so do you wanna say what the wording is? So it's like, what will disciplinary cases and then against pro-Palestine activists who participated in the Gaza Solidarity
But typically organisations will rely on the fact that people don't have access to lawyers, they don't have access to people who understand administrative law procedure and managing through. So getting people involved in that process and expert advice is really important.
Any speakers against that amendment? Okay, since there's no opposition, that can pass. So now we'll vote for the amended motion. So everyone in favour for the motion, please raise your hands now. Any against? That is unanimous.
2024, the students of Adelaide Uni stood together to demand an end to the occupation of Palestine and to stop the genocide in Palestine. With hearts full of empathy and compassion, they united to support the innocent, determined to make a difference. Your efforts ensure that the truth doesn't become a victim. Today's motion should bring a whole new perspective to the leadership of Adelaide University. It's much more than just a financial decision. It's a declaration of our shared humanity, our commitment to human rights, and a stand for the values we hold dear. Make no mistake, everyone. It's no longer hidden in meeting rooms, or buried in emails, or controlled by the media. The truth is out there, and everybody knows it. I assure you that all of Palestine and all its communities are with you. And speaking of Palestine, I carry a humble message for you. It is from my uncle who lives in Tulkarm, Palestine. He is my father figure, and of course I love him so much. After peace be upon you, and assalamu alaikum, he says, I have been closely following your news since the days of encampment. In our very challenging times, I will be waiting for updates that would give us hope, and you always delivered. Throughout our lives, we have remained steadfast in the face of brutal occupation. My children and grandchildren have never known a life free of that, from this oppression. When you rise and firmly uphold your moral and legitimate demands, saying no to occupation, saying no to genocide, you join the growing global movement that gives my children hope for a normal life. For that, and from my heart, I say thank you. How is Israel getting away with its crimes? If any other country did the same crimes that Israel is doing, the United Nations will activate Article 7 and take decisive action. But Israel, America, UK, and France, who are collectively responsible for a long list of genocides, are supporting the genocide in Palestine as we speak, with impunity. And like criminals, they are evasive, wanting to isolate their crimes from accountability and from human rights organizations, international communities, international law, and university students. The ICC has issued an arrest warrant for the criminal Netanyahu, yet no action has been taken. Did you ever ask why? If we look back, history has taught us that no colonist has ever voluntarily admitted to genocide. Despite their empathy, despite their attempts to present themselves as advocates of democracy and human rights, history has revealed them for what they truly are: criminals. Each and every one of them. And today, you say impunity no more. Palestine is proud of you, is proud of your achievements, as you have succeeded in seeing, sharing, and standing for the truth. You have exposed the hypocrisy of those who pretend to be humane and respectful of human rights. Since 1947, Zionists have stolen our land, brutally killed our children and pregnant women, and they have deprived us from the basic human rights that most planet Earth enjoys. As important as your motion is to us, we are confident that it will succeed. We know that humanity will prevail. The question is not if, the question is when. When will the illegal occupation end? When will Palestinians realize their right to return, as enshrined in United Nations Resolution 194? And as we say, no right is lost if there was someone to demand it. We have high hopes that you will continue this journey with steadfast determination until the end. We stand with you. Palestine is with you. Adelaide Uni, congratulations on speaking up and making history when your leaders chose to be complicit. Let me say that again. Congratulations on speaking up and making history when your leaders chose to be complicit. Yes. You should be very proud of yourselves. Your actions will be remembered for generations to come and will stand as a powerful symbol declaring, don't mess with humanity. All the thanks in the world are not enough to thank you. We are so proud of you. And while we bow for no one, we bow in respect to you. Please give yourself a huge round of applause.